Are you in the mood for some Malayalam chill?
I'm always in the mood for some Malayalam chill.
Well, joke's on you! This is Malayalam Mayhem!
What's happening, Buddymeister?
We go hunting.
What are we hunting?
There's a buffalo loose, and I will get that son of a bitch!
Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister.
And it's our ongoing pleasure to review one Indian movie each week.
This one actually comes as a little surprise for us, because we didn't know if it would even get a release here in Vienna. But it did, and we hope that more Malayalam movies will be shown here in the future, because the crowd only consisted of us and 4 other people.
It would be a pity to give up on those smaller movies, because every now and then there's something special around the corner, and Jallikattu, although I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, is certainly something special.
The movie was directed by Lijo Pellissery, who directed 7 films by now, but is still considered a fresh and new voice in Indian cinema. We only saw one of those movies to date, which was Angamali Diaries, but in Jallikattu we could clearly recognize his style, which we'll talk about in a minute. There are also a few actors in this movie with whom Pellissery worked before, like Anthony Varghese, Cemban Vinod Jose and Sabomon Abdusamad.
The term Jallikattu refers to a traditional spectacle in which a bull is released into a crowd of people who attempt to grab the large hump on the bull's back with both arms and hang on to it while the bull attempts to escape. Participants hold the hump for as long as they can, attempting to bring the bull to a stop. In some cases, participants must ride long enough to remove flags on the bull's horns. The Jallikattu was prohibited a few years back, but in 2017 it was allowed again. One can only hope that this horrible tradition gets stopped again, and this time for good.
Just like all the bullfighting all around the world and those stupid bull runs like the one in Pamplona.
Amen. In Pellissery's movie, the spectacle gets turned upside down because the bull escapes by accident and the hunt begins unpremeditated.
Yeah, it takes about, let's say, 15 minutes before the bull and all hell breaks loose. Before that we get introduced to the village, the environment and the people. And although this is the calmest part of the movie, it is still very driving. The movie starts with the ticking clock, and with every beat we hear, we see the people of the village opening their eyes, starting their daily routine, a day like every other.
This montage is fantastic, and just like some other sequences, it's quite reminiscent of Edgar Wright's Baby Driver, meaning that the pictures, or more so the editing and the sounds and music, form this perfect symbiosis. There's a great rhythm to it, and I was hoping that the film had even more of that throughout.
Rhythm is very important in Jallikattu, you said it. It almost feels like a 90-minute drum, rhythm and noise concert. The music is so fascinating in this movie, and all of that keeps building and building until there is not one stone left standing.
It really feels like some kind of abstract avant-garde arrangement of pictures and sounds, yes. It's very primal and charged with raw energy, and as you mentioned earlier, it clearly bears the hallmarks of Pellissery. It is so powerful in those crowded scenes with dozens of characters running and jumping and brawling and beating, like in Angamali Diaries.
Yeah, but Jallikattu is way extremer. It's both quite simple and yet super complex in its form. The story can be told in very few words, and with just 90 minutes it's probably the shortest Indian movie we've seen so far. But in terms of style and filmmaking, this is rousing. It's madness.
It is an attack on the senses, mostly in a positive way, but I have to say that the film has a little bit too much repetition going on with the way all those people are manic to catch the buffalo. I get it, it's all built up to this madness that you just mentioned, but still it could have been a bit tighter.
I know what you mean, but I actually felt this repetition more in the first half. It was almost a bit too slow for me. We get those glimpses into people's lives that we know will probably change as soon as the buffalo comes along. And that is 100% what the movie was going for, because this movie's not about the buffalo, it's about what this buffalo triggers in people. But it still felt a bit disconnected, because I didn't learn enough about those people.
Real emotional connections got a bit lost in all this glorious rampage, not only with the characters but with the story itself. There is a side plot that is fleshed out a little bit more, but at the end I don't care about it that much. If I felt any connection, it was with the buffalo, but since it's more this symbolic mythical creature than a real living creature to root for, that wasn't it as well.
But we also have to acknowledge that this is not what Jallikattu is going for. This is a loud, maniacal, hysteric art piece that just punches you in the face. It has something to say, and it's not that I should like these characters.
That's true for sure. Everyone is hunting this animal. For them, it seems to be just a means to get their personal share, their advantage. It's really not to avoid any possible threat to the village and its residents, like they say it is. It's only to enrich yourself. I think the only character who suggests letting the animal just go in peace is a small farmer. But even that only lasts for some brief seconds before he changes his mind as well. It's about greed and toxic behavior, about exploitation.
It's like a virus that spreads. Everybody gets infected and becomes a crazy person.
Absolutely.
And my god, does this chaos look gorgeous. The cinematography by Girish Gangadaran is stunning.
It is super impressive. The whole setting is downright beautiful, even if this is a very violent film. The way Pellissery is illuminating the dark jungle with hundreds of flashlights, all of them continuously shining in all different directions, is really something else.
And there are a few scenes that really stand out. One is actually in the trailer where they put up a wooden structure over a well. Another one is a very raw and archaic combat between two characters. And of course, the end or the last 50 minutes. Mind-blowing stuff.
Without spoiling it, I was very impressed how the film kept getting bigger and bigger towards the very end. It gets to a point where it's crystal clear that we are leaving any kind of realism behind and the allegory gets front and center. In the end, there are so many wild people on the loose acting like madmen. It reminded me a lot of the climax of Darren Aronofsky's last film, Mother.
You know what they say, look at those men, they may move around on two legs, but they are beasts.
You also know what they say about Jallikattu in German?
No. Jallikattu ist ein betörender und nur hin und wieder etwas zu monotoner Angriff auf die Sinne. Getrieben von Rhythmus und Zerstörung bewegt sich der Wahnsinn hier immer weiter abwärts in der Spirale des urweltlichen Chaos. Sehr sehenswert.
I give Jallikattu 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.3, but I don't do that.
For me, it's a straight 8 out of 10.
That was our review of Jallikattu. The movie just came out, so we are even more interested in what your thoughts are. So please leave a comment below and hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd simply at the Jimmy Cage.
And you can hit me up simply at the Buddymeister.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to say. Tell, oder? Ja. Alter.
Lass drin.
Ne, ranzig halt mega geil.